Well, even now it's being reported, Commodity Online says that $2,000 gold is, that's becoming normal in being talked about investors now.
And that's true. And it has been for the last year by, of all characters, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, Citigroup, etc., Deutsche Bank. They're all talking in terms of 2,000 to 2,500, but they're talking about 4 or 5 years from now, when in fact they know what's going to happen this coming year.
Really? Well, the central banks.
We'll see $2,500 gold this year coming up.
Okay, that's a prediction that you've made. The central banks are now the net buyers of the gold, and after China and Russia disclosed that they have been steadily buying the gold, India bought 200 tons from the IMF, and Sri Lanka and Mauritius bought gold. Russia is buying also. When we get back, I want to ask Bob Chapman, why the decrease in the price of gold? Was that manipulated? We'll be right back after this 4-minute break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that it's being reported by the World Gold Council that the United Nations is licensing the minting of gold bullion coins bearing their logo. Gold coins with the UN logo on them. Welcome back to the Power Hour. Thank you for joining us today. Our guest is Bob Chapman. If you would like to get a copy of his newsletter, and I'll tell you, he and I are on the same page on a lot of issues. He seems to, I don't know where I didn't tell him, and he figured it out all by himself. Bob Chapman has the International Forecaster newsletter, and the phone number is 877-479-8178, 877-479-8178, or go to theinternationalforecaster.com. You will not be sorry. He's making a prediction that gold will go to $2,500 this year, 2010, ladies and gentlemen. And I have a major apology to make for someone that I said months ago. I said there was a gentleman who was attacking the Power Hour, calling us all kinds of, untoward things. And it was a friend of yours. And you were very shocked at that time. Well, I was wrong. I had accused wrongly Richard Story of putting out this false information. And, in fact, it was Christopher Story that had put the information out, both of them being from the UK and attacking the Power Hour over being government agents. Well, Richard Story, my apologies to you. You are a stand-up guy. I was wrong on that, and it is Christopher Story. And, Bob Chapman, you happen to know Richard and know that he is quite a stand-up guy.
That's right. And, I just simply got confused. And I thought that it was the same person, Christopher Story, when in fact it wasn't. I don't know what I was thinking of. But anyway.
Well, no, you came to his aid. I think you came to his aid.
Well, I did, but I said I didn't know anything wrong. And then when I looked into it, I said, oh, my goodness, he's the good guy.
Yes.
But Christopher Story is the guy that's the disinformation specialist with the launcher stuff, and what's been droning on for the last 7 or 8 years. And, he's not the only one. There's a bunch of them out there.
Well, we don't need to go into
anything. I think what they do it for is to increase their subscribership. I can't think of any other reason, although I do know some of them work with the government.
Well, is this Leo Wanta story? Did it have was the origination of the story was accurate, wasn't it?
I really don't know because it's never happened. And so when you have an underlying premise that never comes to fruition, you have to come to the conclusion that it's either totally unreliable or it's so powerful that they can't let it be discussed. But I don't think there's anything today that is too powerful to be discussed, and it's been discussed on the airways at length. So I think that it's not true.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure that I apologize to Mr. Story, Richard Story, and get the story straight. So thank you for that. Let's go back to why gold took a drop. Now, it didn't go that much down from, what was it, 1270 down to 1116, something like that?
Well, it was 1224, and it slid back down on Thursday, and it closed off 38.40 that day at 1,097.80, which was the February contract month. But it came back 6.50 on Friday. Whether this is the absolute bottom remains to be seen. Could very well be. I don't think if it went lower, it would go lower than 10.50, which is some $60 away. And you got to remember, the gold was 12.24. So right now it's only down $110 in round figures. That is nothing at all. I mean, we've got gold that sells over $1,000. It's only 10%. And so we should have had a correction, perhaps from a little higher level, but like 13.25 instead of 12.24. But it happened because the government wanted it that way.
Okay, why are they wanting this correction, or what? Is it because all the central banks want to buy it up and want to buy it up at a cheaper price?
Well, that's part of it. They're short to beat the band. This is in the commodity market on the COMEX futures. The net short position, and it's really the government short position, even though it's with J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, etc. It's 3-to-1 greater than it's ever been before.
It's incredible. We'll be back after this 3-minute break with more of the Bob Chapman, the international forecaster.com. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you really won't care about those Federal Reserve notes before long, I'm afraid, because they're going to be tanking. They're going to be going the way of, well, I don't know, what would it be? The way of?
The dodo.
The dodo? What's the dodo?
The dodo bird.
Dodo bird?
Extinct.
Okay, got it. All right.
You ever heard that? The way of the dodo? Oh,
we are talking to our guest today, Bob Chapman, who helps us understand what's going on financially in the world. And it is a mess right now. Bob, if you had anything positive that you're seeing, do you see anything on Wall Street that's positive? Do you see anything in jobs that are positive? Anything anywhere?
Well, jobs are out, and as far as Wall Street is concerned, the greed knows no end. The positive thing is that Copenhagen has really been a failure. Now, I know that these people are not going to give up because it means their very existence. They've been discovered what they've been doing, and through the UN, and what's happened is that the scientists have been paid to and have been encouraged to create scientific data that said there was global warming when, in fact, it was academic fraud. And, of course, that never came up at the Copenhagen meeting because I don't want anybody to know about it if they can help it. But they did get a transference agreement to, over the next several years, send $5 to $10 billion a year, and by 1220 they expect to send $100 billion a year from the wealthy countries to the poor countries, and that is a redistribution of wealth, which is a communist thing. Mm-hmm. And I think if people or companies or foundations want to do that, that's fine. But I've never been a big advocate of foreign aid, which, in fact, that probably is what it is. The participants from the Third World were very shocked when they got there. The second week, the Danish text was released spuriously, secretly, to the members, and they found that their taxes were going to double, not in the face of getting this largesse or free ride from the richer nations, so they went ballistic. And so the whole thing turned out to be a mess, and that's very positive because hopefully that'll kill cap and trade, which is in the Senate, trying to get passes. And if we can stop the cap and trade, we'll stop Wall Street from increasing our taxes by another 20%. And, of course, they'll be trading these carbon credits, and they'll make trillions of dollars. And of course, on the other hand, the Copenhagen group, which is the same people as the cap and trade people, they want a world tax so that they can finance what they're doing. And they want it to take it away from the UN and put it with the World Bank, which means that half of it will be stolen before it ever gets anywhere. I mean, the whole thing is just a giant scam. But the positive thing is it's been exposed. We've beaten them, and we've beaten them good.